Do you know? Do you know that the universe doesn't test you to break you, but rather to know if you're ready for the next stage? Isn't it amazing how we don't like pain? We don't like negative emotions, and we don't like to admit when sometimes life is not going how we want it to go. So when the universe is testing you, it can be tricky. As people, it can be tricky because we can view these challenges or these tests or things that are happening that we don't want to happen. That's why there's a challenge, because something is happening that we don't want to happen. We can view them as punishments. Why am I being punished? Is it karma? Is it this that's going on? And it's easy for us to view it as, we are on a setback and we're on the wrong path, or something is going against us. But what I've come to realize in life is the challenges, the experiences, the maybe traumatic experiences that we go through are really actually just a way for us to level up as people. I spend a lot of time with people, and with people letting me into their inner world, speaking to me about, the stuff they're going through and their struggles and some of the stuff they've had to go through and endure in life. And sometimes we just don't understand what's happening. The other day, somebody picked up the phone to me, they rang me, they were like, I'm feeling really sad, I'm feeling really low, and I don't know why. The more we spoke, I was like, okay, number one, well done for picking up the phone and calling somebody. You would have been just in your head, like probably driving yourself mad, trying to understand what's going on. But you brought in somebody and you're like, I just need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to listen. And I need, somebody to just kind of, just try to understand, help me to understand what's going on. We spoke for about 40 minutes. And at the end of it, it was experiences that had happened in their past that were impacting their current self now, a traumatic experience that they had gone through that was now repeating itself in their current situation because they hadn't fully processed what had happened in the past, or they hadn't fully let go of what had happened in the past. And sometimes the universe has a way of presenting things in front of us that we need to deal with, and sometimes to understand, so we can understand it a little bit more, and sometimes for us to actually acknowledge what had happened or what's happened. A simple example is, for example, you may be somebody who has got a business. You're starting a business, or you've started multiple businesses in the past. And those businesses have never really gone the way you wanted them to, and you feel like you haven't fully reached your potential with those businesses. And now you have an opportunity to start a new business. And in that business, you're still kind of holding on to your past failures. But you feel like you're ready, but at the same time, you're still a bit scared to fail. And you're still a little bit scared to take that next step because you're like, oh, what if the same stuff happens again? what I've realized in life is the more sometimes we sit there and think of the what ifs, what's happening, what if this happens, what if that happens, why is this happening to me? In fact, we become our own worst enemy because all the trying to understand that we're trying to do is not helping us. In fact, we're just stuck in our heads going over and over and over and over the same situation over and over again instead of actually doing what we need to do. The first step, actually, when we are getting challenged, is to say, this is my situation to deal with, and I need to take responsibility for it. And it's easier said than done. Because if you're not fully at that space where you feel ready to be able to fully address the issue, we can keep distance from the situation rather than actually getting closer to it and welcoming the situation. And actually, when we welcome the situation and actually sit with the feelings that we're going through as people, we will start to understand actually there is something that I needed to address. Bear with, just moving around. Okay, so when we go through challenges in life, life is trying to show you your path. Life is trying to show you where you should be going, and life is trying to show you what you need to do. And if you're not in a place where you're prepared to be able to see those things, life is going to keep tugging you left, right, and center to a point sometimes you feel overwhelmed. Life is not always going to be easy, but you can make it easier for yourself. And one way to do that is to stop running away from things that we don't want to face and start facing the things that we know we should face. And a lot of times as people, we know what that is. Depending maybe on your level of maturity, sometimes you know what that is, but sometimes we don't know how we will get there. But we know what we need to do. And I think sometimes the how can throw us off. And by being tested and constant ups and downs of life, and the the setbacks of life, they can make us feel small, unworthy, and they can make us feel like, you know what, we're not good enough. But that's where the growth comes in. Growth comes in when you're willing to be uncomfortable. When you're willing to be uncomfortable. I found myself in times and situations where I'm really uncomfortable and I feel really uneasy and I feel like like what's happening? What's going on? And I remember once when I was really going through it and I was like, but then in that moment, as I was going through it, like I felt lost and somewhat confused. But the moment I decided to face what was happening and actually address the issue, like it's like a door opened up really, really wide. And then I started seeing all these different pathways that I never saw before. And then I sat there and I was like, is this what I have to go through? I literally said, is this what I have to go through to gain a little bit more awareness, to gain more clarity, to be able to see clearly, to be able to confront myself or to confront the situation? Before that, I had been running away from this situation. I'd been running away from whatever it was, and I was not able to confront myself. And the moment I literally held myself to account is the moment everything became clearer. And that's what challenges are. Sometimes the things that are testing you in life are just your path to your breakthrough. That once you realize what's going on, it becomes so much more clearer for you that, oh, that's why it was happening. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, isn't it? I think we would all wish that we could see hindsight in the present moment, but when we are fully um engulfed in a situation, it's hard for us to be able to sometimes to fully see what it is that we're experiencing without actually understanding, like, where do we go as individuals. And sometimes that can be confusing for us, because in those moments we can feel like we can have those, why is this happening to me, why is this happening? And sometimes it's just having that simple shift in perspective, that why is this, how is this working for me in my favor? How is this working for me, rather than, to why is this happening to me, rather than it's happening for me. And when you start embracing those little moments of struggle in life, and you start to be able to really take time with yourself and with life, and to really spend time with yourself, you start to understand that the little challenges, the way you're being tested by life, by the universe, by other people, is simply a way for you to gain more clarity of who you are, where you're going, and generally just life. Don't get me wrong, life can be tricky, life can be hard. And I'm not a fan of these people, that tell you, oh, I can change your life in 7 days. If somebody is telling you, I can change your life in 7 days, I can change your life in 30 days, I can change your life in 90 days, good luck. The only person that can change their life in 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, however many months, is you. Nobody else. You can have guidance to get there, but you still have to do the work. So when the universe is testing you and you're getting guidance, you're getting support from other people, always remember that you're the one who has to do the work at the end of the day. And what's happening in today's world, we have people who are benefiting of people's confusion, of people's misery, and of people's unhappiness. People will sell stuff, and people will sell you dreams of, the things that they can do. Don't get me wrong, some of those people, me, I can't say nothing. All I will say is, if there is something that is promised to you by somebody else, and they're promising to change your life in a certain amount of time, I'll just take a step back and maybe reflect. Why do you need somebody to change your life for you? Why can't you change your own life? Because you have the power to change your life. You have the power to face what's going on in your life. And you have the power and the resilience to keep moving forward, to be able to address what it is that's testing you in life. There's a book I read, and it's called The Noticer. And in the book, I really like that it said this. It says, in life, you're either in a crisis, about to exit a crisis, or about to start a crisis. So either entering a crisis, in a crisis, or about to come out of a crisis. And that's just the cycle of life. And that is what we call the hero's journey. And through the hero's journey, there are certain things that you go through in life that will show you different things. And the hero's journey essentially is about, you becoming more aware and transforming through life's ups and downs. And how this looks like essentially is that something happens that calls you to begin an adventure, to begin your breakthrough, to begin the test that you've been set as a person. And through that call to adventure, you have a problem, a challenge, or an opportunity as a person that you have to go through. And this will allow you to leave your comfort zone as a person. And after this, as a person, you can either accept, when I said you either confront yourself and accept what's going on, you accept what's going on, right? And then you say, you know what, I'm going to accept this and I'm going to face it. Or you refuse. You refuse or you answer. And some of the things that stop us from taking on that opportunity, that challenge, or, that getting out of our comfort zone is fear, is doubt, and also uncertainty. When the universe is testing you, and when the universe is put a challenge, an opportunity, or like a problem, you've got two options. Would you rather, I like to play a game, would you rather play would you rather with yourself? Doesn't matter how old you are, you can play would you rather with yourself. Would you rather stay in your comfort zone as a person and maybe be a little bit more miserable, or you could be happy there for now? Would you rather stay there, or would you rather embrace the unknown, take on the challenge, take on the test, and see what will come at the other side? Most of the time, when you take on the challenge or the test or the opportunity, you always come out a better person. You always come out a better person. You learn so much about yourself. So when you have this call, you either refuse it or you answer it. And this, if you answer it, you've embraced change. And if you refuse it, you're resisting change. So this is about you understanding, am I somebody who's ready for change, or am I not ready for change? And if you're not ready for change, you will stay exactly where you are until you are ready. And the next time is you will meet a mentor. You will meet somebody who will guide you on your path, who provides you guidance and presents you with the steps that you will need to take, and helps you to build your confidence and prepare for the journey ahead. And then after that, you then cross the threshold. And when you cross the threshold, this is about you stepping into the unknown and stepping into a world you know nothing about. And now you're at a point, basically a point of no return. You've taken on this challenge. You're saying, I'm going to do this and I don't know what's to come, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. No matter what comes to me, I know I'm gonna get through it. That's the place where you're at now. Then when after that, you will have people that will come into your life to test you, to teach you a lesson, to distract you, or you will have allies and you also have enemies. And then as you go through that journey, you will start to, sorry, as I'm speaking this right now, right? And I'm literally recognizing the cycle it's happened so many times in my life. And it's like mad. And you can probably see me deeping it as I'm speaking. I'm like, oh shoot. um I'm actually deeping it as I am speaking right now. And then these will come along different paths, and they'll help you to learn different skills, to deal with internal conflicts, to deal with external conflicts. They will help you to deal with yourself. They will help you to deal with different areas of your life, and they'll help you to gain awareness, right? And this could be friends or foes. It don't matter who it is, there's somebody, but they're there to teach you a lesson, to challenge you, right? To distract you, or to just open your eyes. I always say people come into your life to either test you, distract you, or teach you a lesson. So once you start to understand that, then you can start approaching, you know, your innermost journey. This is basically where you are you're ready for the major challenge and the major milestone and the major breakthrough. And this is when you know you're about to break that wall that you've been behind for a while. And when you break past that, you know, okay, the road will start to be more clearer. You start to understand why things have been happening the way you are, and you have more introspection. And then you will gather more strength as you keep going forward. And then after that, once you face your greatest challenge, you can be like, oh, I'm cool, I'm relaxed, I'm calm, because my journey here has been preparing me for this. And now I understand what I had to go through, what I had to go through. The universe had to test me to prepare me for this challenge. A book, The Alchemist. Is it The Alchemist? Yes, a book called The Alchemist. That's another one that talks about this. And another one, I can't remember the name, but I'll find out for you. It talks about the acornist people. What's that book called? I'll somewhere I'll remember when I remember the book, I'll tell you about it again in future. But you will have the tools and the resources to be able to go through and break through the challenges of life. You'd have essentially let go of the old you to become the person that you now need to be to keep moving forward. And then once you've let go of the old you and you've gone past that challenge, what happens is that now you're ready for the next level, right? Because essentially that old you is gone. In order to get to where you need to get to, in order to level up through the universe's challenges and tests, you as a person will need to have that breakthrough. And through that breakthrough, when you get to that place, you can't get there with you being the old you. You need to become a newer, a better version, a higher version of you that allows you to be able to go through that. Then after that, you get your reward. And essentially, that reward is essentially where you've learned new knowledge, you learn new skills, you've learned to cope, and that is where you've had that growth. And then that's when you start to realize, oh, okay, this is why everything had to happen and it makes sense. Then you're on your way back, on the way journey back to, the world that you know. And then you start now reflecting and integrating the lessons that you've learned as a person. And then through that, you you use everything you've learned to make a change in your life and also make changes in other people's lives. And then by the time you get to the place where you need to get through your challenges, the tests, is you get to a place where you have wisdom, you have knowledge, and you have healing that you can support people with. And you can now start being able to integrate the lessons you've learned with other. Well, okay. So as you can see, the universe's way of testing you is not to break you, is to see if you're really ready for the next level. Why I started doing this is generally like maybe a few videos ago, I mentioned how, my lowest point led to my breakthrough. And when you see the journey you go through as a person and you start to understand that by the time you get there, life will look different, who you are will be different. If you saw Vivian 10 years ago, you would not even recognize Vivian 10 years ago. I should have even brought the pictures. So it's about understanding that in order to get to where you need to get, you need to become someone new. And the way you do that is by going through that hero's journey and going through that ordeal as a person, so you can gain the knowledge and the skills and and essentially the resources that you need to get you where you need to get. A simple example for me is the example that I used at the start about starting a business. In my 20s, I had so many business ideas. I've always known I always wanted to be like an entrepreneur. I always wanted to help people. But as I've said in my videos, I'm motivated by helping people, making a difference. And I've always worked in the nonprofit world, and I really wanted to have impact. And I never knew what that was, but all I knew is in my 20s, I always kept writing about what that would look like, but I never knew how I would get there. I started like a nonprofit organization a couple of years ago, and it's all about helping young people to build a better relationship with themselves. I learned so much through that organization, and I've always had supportive people around me and mentors around me. Then one day, I just had a little idea, and as soon as that idea came to mind, I met my mentor, and I met several actually. For years, I'd always wanted people who could guide me and support me. And that year, the idea came to me. The mentors just started coming right, left, right, and center. And then I started to realize all the years I had to go through, failing in some of my businesses, or, trying to understand what I was good at, what I wasn't good at, being broke, very broke, sacrificing a lot of things. Those things all led me to a place where I had to meet those people. And by the time I met those people, I was ready. I was so ready. I was so ready. Was I the finished product? By far not. Very far from it. But mentally, I was ready for what was to come. And understanding that the journeys that I'd gone through led me to that. It makes sense because now when I'll explain my story a little bit more in detail. And it's much easier for me to be able to explain certain things about what led me to here because of the tests and the trials and tribulation. I don't even know that word that I had to go through. So whatever you're going through right now, whether you feel like you're being tested by the universe, remember you're being called to an adventure, and that adventure is waiting for you. And as soon as you answer that adventure and you say yes to that adventure, understand that by the end of it, you're going to become a better person. You're going to come out of it a better, higher version of yourself. And you're not always going to be the finished product. Nobody is. And if they say that, they're lying. You're always have to work on yourself. But maybe ask yourself right now, what is an adventure I'm being called to that I've been avoiding? And maybe look back and reflect and say, what is an adventure I was called into that I took on well? And what did I learn? And how did I come out the other side? For me, the simple one was becoming a single mom was the greatest adventure I could have ever been called into. And that led me to so many awakenings into who I am, where I'm going, and gave me loads of different reasons to live for. And I hope in your tests and things that you're going through life, just recognize that you are stronger than you think, than you believe, and there is a reason. And then one thing you can do is move away from blame, from doubt, from regret, from shame, from trying to shut away that side, um, but rather embrace the challenge, the call to adventure, and trust in the unknown. Because when you trust in the unknown, you will be rewarded, and things will happen, opportunities will come in front of you that you never expected, and then you'll be grateful that even you're tested, in fact. So I wish you all the best in your adventures of life, and just ask yourself that question, you know how have I dealt when I've been tested, and what breakthroughs have come from that? And yeah, let me know how you found the video. Let me know your breakthroughs that you've had, any tests and adventures that you've had, and how you've come out of it the other side. All right, thanks. Bye.